Is Somalia about to repeat Sudan's tragic history? After decades of war and famine, Somalia is finally seeing a fragile peace, but new dangers are emerging. The United Arab Emirates is deepening its involvement in Somalia, echoing its controversial role in Sudan. In Sudan, foreign money and weapons fueled a devastating civil war, shattering hopes for democracy and displacing millions. Now the UAE is signing major port deals and training local security forces in Somalia. These moves are part of a broader strategy to gain influence in the Horn of Africa. For Somalis, this is deeply concerning. They know the pain caused when their country becomes a chessboard for foreign powers. The central government in Mogadishu still struggles to control the entire country, while regional states often act independently, sometimes making their own deals with outsiders. This patchwork of loyalties creates fertile ground for external actors to exploit divisions. The UAE's strategy risks deepening these fault lines, backing certain regional leaders and undermining national reconciliation. It could create new power centers that challenge the federal government, a classic divide-and-conquer tactic. In a country as fragmented as Somalia, this is playing with fire. The stakes are high. The future of millions hangs in the balance. Will Somalia recover, or will it be pushed back into chaos by foreign interference? The parallels with Sudan are too clear to ignore. The world is watching, and the next chapter is about to be written. Somalia stands at a crossroads, with its fate uncertain. To understand Somalia's risks, look north to Sudan. A nation once filled with hope after the 2019 uprising toppled dictator Omar al-Bashir. A fragile power-sharing government emerged, but powerful outside forces, including the UAE, quickly moved in. The UAE and its allies backed Sudan's military, preferring stability over democracy. This support emboldened the generals, isolating civilian leaders and undermining reforms. The dream of democracy faded as the military tightened its grip, encouraged by foreign patrons. In April 2023, Sudan's two most powerful generals, al-Burhan and Hemeti, turned on each other, plunging the country into civil war. Years of building up rival armed forces, especially the UAE-backed RSF, set the stage for disaster. The conflict was not just about power, it was the direct result of foreign meddling and competing military factions. Sudan descended into chaos, with Khartoum's hopeful streets turned into a war zone. The lesson is clear. Foreign intervention that empowers factions over institutions can destroy a nation's future. Somalia now faces similar risks as outside powers repeat these dangerous patterns. The warning from Sudan is stark and urgent. Will Somalia heed it, or fall into the same trap? The answer depends on choices made now. The UAE's involvement in Sudan went far beyond diplomacy. It built up Hemeti's RSF, transforming a regional militia into a powerful paramilitary force. Funding, training, and weapons from the UAE gave the RSF the means to rival Sudan's national army. This created a state with two competing militaries, an unstable and dangerous situation. When civil war erupted, evidence showed the UAE continued to arm and finance the RSF, prolonging the conflict. The result, tens of thousands dead, millions displaced, and a nation in ruins. The UAE's strategy meant to secure influence instead fueled catastrophe. Backing armed factions over national institutions led Sudan down the path to disaster. This is a chilling precedent for Somalia. The lesson: empowering regional strongmen can tear fragile states apart. Somalia must avoid repeating Sudan's fate. The cost of failure is too high. Against Sudan's tragic backdrop, the UAE's growing role in Somalia is under scrutiny. The Emirates' strategy centers on three pillars: securing ports, providing military support to regional partners, and bypassing the central government. DP World, a UAE company, has signed major deals to manage ports in Somaliland and Puntland, regions that act independently from Mogadishu. These deals anger the federal government, which sees them as violations of Somali sovereignty. The UAE also trains and equips security forces in these regions, building up their military capacity. This support makes regional states more powerful and independent, potentially undermining national unity. The risk regional forces may become more loyal to foreign patrons than to Somalia's central government. This mirrors the UAE's playbook in Sudan, where it empowered the RSF over national institutions. In Somalia, the danger is that the UAE could foster rival power centers, threatening years of state building. The combination of economic deals and military aid gives the UAE immense influence, but at a high cost to Somali stability. The stakes are clear. Will Somalia remain unified or fracture under external pressure? The answer will shape the country's future. The world is watching. Somalia is rebuilding, but its progress is fragile. The federal government has made gains, but tensions with regional states remain high. Regions like Puntland and Jubaland have their own security forces and often clash with Mogadishu over power and resources. When foreign actors like the UAE make separate deals with these regions, they deepen internal divisions. This emboldens regional leaders and weakens national unity. Experts warn that this divide-and-conquer approach risks repeating the mistakes that fueled Somalia's past civil wars. Empowering regional factions could create rival power centers just as in Sudan. Somalia's fight against al-Shabaab requires unity. Political division only strengthens extremists. Foreign interference that worsens these tensions puts Somalia's fragile peace at risk. Only a coordinated national strategy can defeat insurgency and build lasting stability. The lesson unity is essential, and foreign deals that undermine it are dangerous. Somalia walks a tightrope. One misstep could plunge it back into chaos. The stakes could not be higher. The UAE's actions in Somalia are part of a wider geopolitical contest in the Horn of Africa. The region is a strategic crossroads, drawing in global and regional powers. The main rivals, the UAE and Saudi Arabia on one side, Turkey and Qatar on the other. Turkey has built strong ties with Somalia's central government, investing in infrastructure and training the national army. The UAE, meanwhile, empowers regional states, creating a parallel power structure. This rivalry turns Somalia into a proxy battleground with internal disputes inflamed by external agendas. Somali leaders are pressured to pick sides, trading loyalty for aid and investment. This transactional politics distracts from governance and development. The competition undermines Somali sovereignty and complicates efforts to rebuild the nation. Instead of focusing on unity, leaders are forced to navigate foreign interests. The result? Somalia risks becoming a pawn in a larger game for regional dominance. The cost is borne by ordinary Somalis whose future hangs in the balance. The challenge reclaiming agency and building a stable, independent state. Somalia stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain. One path leads to unity, peace, and the slow rebuilding of a functional state. This requires strong leadership, national reconciliation, and international partners who support central institutions. The other path is division and proxy conflict, Sudan's tragic road. Foreign money and weapons flowing to rival factions could plunge Somalia back into chaos. The UAE's strategy in Sudan offers a stark warning. The choice lies with Somali leaders and people. Resist foreign games or become pawns in them. Regional leaders must prioritize national interests over short-term gains. The international community must support a unified Somalia, not a fragmented one. The lessons from Sudan are clear. Division leads to disaster. The world is watching Somalia's next move. Will it learn from its neighbor's tragedy, or repeat it? The answer will define a generation.